Hello everyone, my name is Jada Simon. I'm from Group 1 and my group members are Aviel Martin, Chevelle Morgan, Abigail Parkinson, Janae Allen, Brittany Powell, Kellyssa McQueen and Dante Welch. Today we'll be focusing on the human development theory by Sigmund Freud. We'll be looking closely at the stages of the psychosexual theory and its importance in a child's development. Introduction of the human development theory. The psychosexual stages of development were birthed by Sigmund Freud in 1905. He suggested that an individual's personality is manifested by how they master each of the 5 stages while developing their id, ego, and superego. The 5 stages started from birth through puberty and were oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital. He theorized that all stages were conflict-bound and each stage, the sexual energy, also known as the libido or the pleasure zone, is focused at specific sites of the body. Once the conflict or tension is properly released to the libido, then gratification will occur and the child progresses to the next stage. MacLeod, 2019. Stage 1. Stage 1 in Sigmund Freud's psychosexual stage of child development is identified as the oral stage. This ranges from birth to 1 year. The mouth, which Sigmund Freud recognized as the infant's major source of libidinal pleasure, used for sucking of the thumb, breastfeeding, cooing, mouthing items, and biting. It serves as the foundation for the ego processes of introjection and ejection, which are then used in judgment and reality checking. In the oral stage, a baby's first bond is to the person who satisfies his or her oral needs. This is usually the mother or caregiver to whom the child is fully reliant for everything they require to exist in life, including food, love, warmth, safety, and nurture. If the right quantity of stimulation isn't provided, libidinal energy switches to oral satisfaction, resulting in latent aggressive or passive inclinations. The child may develop oral fixation, which causes negative behaviors in adulthood. So what is oral fixation? According to Nunes 2020, oral fixation can be as a result of the child being weaned too early or too late from being breastfed, overfed and overprotected, or underfed and neglected. This may cause a child to have difficulties adjusting to eating habits. Sigmund then elucidated that the unmet needs of the child determine the behavioral tendencies and personality traits portrayed in adulthood. Relevant examples of oral fixation are alcohol abuse, smoking cigarettes, overeating, and nail biting. In the case of a child being overfed in the oral stage, the child develops the tendencies of eating large portions of meal and seek to satisfy these needs in adulthood by overeating. This may pose further complications as obesity is commonly associated with eating excessive meal portions.
The anal stage is the second stage of development. The body part of pleasure is the anus, where the child is learning to be potty trained. And if all goes well, the child will matriculate to the next stage. However, if it fails, then there's going to be fixation, anal retention, or expulsion. I'll elaborate more. Anal retentive is where the child will take pleasure holding in the waist. So they lack control, they're perfectionist or obsessive. That's the personality. Anal expulsive is the opposite. They take pleasure releasing. So they are messy, chaotic, and carefree. They thrive in this mess. And that explains the anal stage.
Good morning, class. Now we will look at the phallic stage. Today we have Dr. White from Harvard University to tell us more.
The phallic stage is the third stage of psychosexual development lasting from 3 to 6 years, during which the infant's desire centers on their genitalia as the erogenous zone. When a child becomes aware of anatomical differences, a conflict between erotic attraction, hatred, and competition develops. The phallic stage in boys is known as the Oedipus complex and the Electra complex in girls. The feminine variant for the Oedipus complex is referred to as the Electra complex. It involves a girl between the ages of 3 to 6 developing an involuntarily sexual attachment to her father while becoming more hostile to her mother. Freud states that a young girl is bonded to her mother during early development. The attachment for her father develops when she realizes she has no penis and begins to resent her mother, who she blames for her castration. As a result, she identifies and imitates her mother to avoid losing her love, resulting in identification. The Oedipus complex. This involves a young boy aged 3 to 6 becoming sexually attracted to his mother, while being hostile to his father. The Oedipus complex emerges in a young boy when he develops unconscious sexual impulses for his mother. Jealousy and envy are directed to the father because he is the mother's focus of affection. Because of his affections for his mother and antagonism with the father, this leads to the boy fantasizing about killing his father. These hostile feelings towards the father lead to castration anxiety. To cope with this anxiety, the son identifies with the father. This means the boy will adopt some attitudes that his father holds. Example: personality, gender roles and masculinity. The father becomes a role model rather than a rival. Through identification with the aggressor, boys acquire their superego and the male sex role. The boy substitutes his desire for his mom with other women. The phallic stage, in which the libido is directed toward the genitalia, is the pinnacle of infantile sexuality. It sets the stage for adult sexuality even though it...
Castration anxiety is an irrational fear that the father will castrate him or remove his penis as punishment as a result of his angry attitudes against him. The boy identifies with his father in order to cope with his anxiety. This means that the son internalizes his father's attitudes, qualities, and ideals. Example: personality, gender role, masculinity, dad-type behaviors, etc. Rather than becoming a competitor, the father becomes a role model. Boys gain their superego and the male sex role through his identification with the aggressor. The boy's longing for his mother is then replaced with a desire for other women.
Now moving on to the latency stage, and to tell us more on this topic we have psychologist Dr. Campbell here.
Basically, this stage is dedicated to the development of a child's ego or personality whilst the sexual desire of the child is suppressed, or in other words, the child has yet to unlock it. Hence, most of this stage is spent socializing and learning. Do you know at what stage does this occur?
No, I don't know.
Well then, let's take a walk to the nearby park to find out. If you notice, the children you see here playing looks approximately around the ages of 6 to about 12 years old. Do you notice anything else? Most of the kids tend to socialize within same-sex cliques, so boys play with boys. The importance of this stage is to help children develop their communication skills and form social relationships, and in turn this would aid in building their self-esteem and help them make their own decisions in life. And finally, this stage tends to end at puberty at approximately age 11 for boys and 12 for girls, and next is the genital stage.
So we're now at the genital stage, which commences at puberty and leads into adulthood. And as the name suggests, the genitals are affected by our sex drive, which is the libido. And this is between a male and a female. So at this stage, the teenager or the adult will want to be engaged in sexual activities or to even experiment sexually. However, according to McLeod 2019, at this stage, Freud believed that the ego and the superego are completely developed. So though the teenager or the adult is being affected by a high libido, he or she should now be able to make choices that are morally and socially accepted. It is also believed by Freud, according to Newman and Newman 2020, that the sexual threat that the mature adolescent poses to the family unit is a source of the adolescent's stress. And as a result of this stress, the adolescent may retreat from their families or momentarily devalue their parents in order to avoid this hazard of the sexual threat. So you may find that these children may tend not to want to be around the parent at this stage. Additionally, Freud believed that a failure to express or to fulfill childhood desires can result in psychological difficulties during adolescence and childhood. These urges may have been frustrated or overindulged during any period during childhood, and as a result, the person may now seek gratification later on in life, which is now in this genital stage. So we're now going to show a dramatization of the genital stage and what happens as a child develops and reaches this stage. Kels?
Jane, what's up? Hey, what's up?
Call me, I call you, call. Me I say me want may I deal with the schoolwork. You know busy now?
Not I'm already. I'm actually that way playing the call.
Alright, good. Start now.
Sure, before we start.
Oh no.
I'm about 20.
What do you mean?
You guys have been talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to try something new.
Try something.
What, doing something not usual.
What you want to
So,
do?
what you think?
You
Yeah,
mean
but don't have to spell it out.
alright. You sure you want to do that for your mother go say about that and your father?
I'm not really talk to them, and I'm not really care what they want to say. I know what me want to do on my body.
Watch big woman. My girl, look at it.
Right, that's so.
You're not sure if Tony wants you. And then if anything go wrong with the experimentation there, or you will go have a baby for carry. You have money for mind pitney? Next thing, we know. No, that's not what I'm saying. You don't know. You know, man say them show you pretty now. Like say they're interested in you and then later on they leave you. And then you wanna go have the baby for take care of. You are gonna drop out of school. Nobody not gonna mind you and everything fall back to your parents. And society not like the whole thing about teenage pregnancy. And then look at it. You get pregnant for him. Your parents probably kick you out. You have to go find another partner. That partner wants another baby, and the cycle continues. You're stuck in a poverty. Then, by the time you're 20, you'll have 5 babies. Oh, that look. That's a promiscuous lifestyle. That's not right. Hi everyone, and thank you for watching the presentation so far. Now we are at the point where I'm going to talk to you about the importance of the stages of development. And I'm Chevelle, by the way. So you would have met all 5 stages earlier, which were oral, anal, phallic, latent, and genital. Right? And why are these stages so important? They're important because they affect your personality in the future. They affect how it is developed, how it is shaped. They affect how you behave based on how well you maneuvered and you transitioned through the different stages. If you did not transition successfully, then you would be stuck in one of them. So, for example, if you were going through potty training, just say, look at the slide and you'll see we have anal stage as an example. If you are stuck in the anal stage where mommy would have said, if you mess up yourself, I'm going to clap you. So you as the child know, so afraid, you hold it in because you don't want mommy to beat you. So as an adult, then you like order, you like to be perfectionist, you have OCD tendencies because you are experiencing or you're exhibiting signs of anal retention. And that is basically why it is so important for you to get adequate support so that you can go through the stages successful. Now, thank you for watching our presentation. Have a good one and feel free to ask any questions.